Hey everybody, David G here, founder of the Internet Marketing Party, and absolutely thrilled to be bringing you Pham, who is one of the highest paid time management consultants. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, I wanted to say productivity consultants. One of the highest paid time management consultants on the planet. He runs a company called Asian Efficiency with his partner who I just recently met. He's almost location independent, but he kind of has a home base out of Austin, Texas, which I'm really happy of because that's how we got to know each other. He's been coming to the Internet Marketing Parties off and on when he's not off gallivanting, traveling the world, or running webinars. He comes pretty regularly. So it's always a pleasure to have people that come to the party regularly speak on our stage. So a couple things I can tell you about Tan. His parents were boat refugees. He was raised in the Philippines, he was born in the Philippines, but ended up being raised in the Netherlands, dropped out of high school when he was 17, weaseled his way into college so that he could drop out of there when he realized it wasn't for him. Then got started with a coaching program, helping as an employee in a coaching business where he learned a lot about internet marketing, but realized that his real passion was productivity and efficiency and teaching, which is one of the reasons we're really stoked to be bringing him to the stage for you, because our best presenters at Internet Marketing Party are the ones that aren't doing it because they have something to pitch or sell, or they've got a launch or a book coming up, but just because they like to give back. A couple things I can tell you about Tan, if I don't steal his thunder, is that he's going to be talking about, and this is why you should watch this presentation right now, even if you can't make it to the Internet Marketing Party, which I hope that you can. Thursday, March the 12th, the day before South by Southwest Interactive kicks off. So it should be a huge party, but Tan's going to be teaching you how to make double, triple your profits with a tiny email list. And I said, well, Tan, what is big profits from a tiny email list? And he said, well, how to make 6 figures with an email list of 10,000-ish or smaller. And then I said, wow, that's pretty good. And he said, yeah, actually, we're hitting 7 figures with an email list of 35,000. So that blew me away in the sense that I work with a lot of clients as a JV and affiliate management agency. And some of our clients have upwards of 100, 200,000 subscribers. And not all of them are doing 7 figures. So hats off to you, Tan. I hope I didn't over-introduce you there, but so much great stuff to talk about. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, with that sort of intro, I got to bring the heat now. So let's do it.
Let's do it. So you want to repeat in your own words what it is that why should people watch this video, and why should they come to the Internet Marketing Party, and something actionable you're going to show them in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm actually really good at converting people on an email list to buy something. And so what I want to show you guys and teach you guys is really the fundamentals behind that, which is the engine that runs everything that we do at Asian Efficiency, which leads up to those conversions.
Nice.
And that's really marketing automations. So what I see a lot of businesses miss is that they don't have any systems in place. They don't have any procedures in place. There's no automation there. Everything is done manually. Whenever people want to broadcast an email, it's literally being written up, implemented, and sent out on a crisis basis, quote unquote. Or let's say you have cash flow issues and you need to make some quick money. You run a sale, or you do something extra to generate some cash. But if you have the systems in place and the automation in your business, none of those crises will ever happen, which is why I'm very fortunate in our business that we don't tend to put out a lot of fires or anything like that, because we're very strategic and we automate and systemize everything so that we can sort of be a couple steps ahead and sort of plan our cash flow, our growth, and so on. And then, having the systems and engines in place to turn your tiny email list into profits, that's one thing I want to show you guys.
Very, very cool. So how do you propose that we make use of the next, I guess we got about 7 minutes left.
So let's talk about email first.
Okay.
So I'm sure you've heard this a million times. You know, the value, the money is in the list, and that's definitely truth in that. But if like you said, if you have people who have hundreds of thousands of people on the list and can't convert those into buyers, the list size doesn't really matter. And especially with email list size, email lists nowadays, it's all about engagement. This is what Google, Yahoo, and every big email provider is tracking: is are people actually reading your emails and taking action? And that's how you get higher in the inbox. That's how you get priority. That's how you get your emails delivered. People clicking on it, or people actually reading them. And so one thing, and this is where being an introvert is actually a really good strength. Because
I meant to say that in the intro. And for those of you introverts, because we have a lot of introverts that are internet marketers, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like I'm an introvert. I'm sure you see me at the parties. Like I don't talk. It's very hard for me to come up to someone and say, "Hey, I'm Tan. Like I want to meet you." But like that's actually a strength in copywriting. Like when you can empathize with someone, which introverts are very good at, that they can like sort of empathize with someone, think through what they're thinking, sort of simulate in their head what they're going through without needing to actually talk to that person or be around that. You can write amazing copy. Like I don't consider myself a really good copywriter. Like I'm a terrible writer. I actually have a copywriter on staff that fixes my grammar, spelling errors, and stuff like that. But I have the empathy because I know from talking to customers and readers what they're going through. And then I just try to simulate it in my head, saying, okay, this is where you're going through. This is one problem I can solve for you in this email. And every single email I ever write solves one problem and has one call to action. So if you can do that, your conversions will go through the roof. A lot of times
So let's recap that again. And by the way, what if someone's not an introvert? Like, I mean, because I don't want it to be like, oh shit, I better not listen to this guy. I'm an outgoing guy. Like,
yeah. Then it's really knowing your customer extremely well. Like one thing, and this is sort of a sad truth, but a lot of people in internet marketing are not willing to put in the work. Yeah. Like they're willing to grind, but they're not willing to put in the work to systematize a lot of things.
Tell me what the difference is for you between willing to grind but to not systematize, not do the work. Like, because I think, I have to admit that that's not a black and white distinction for me. So I'm curious what you mean by that.
So when I think grinding, I think, you don't have a strategy and there's no cash flow strategy behind it. It's more about you're handling a crisis and you're going to work hard at it until you fix that crisis. And we've all been there, like, especially when you start off, like you're going to have problems in your business. There's stuff going to be happening last minute, and you have to like there's a launch coming up. Maybe you're launching because you need cash flow, right? And then you're just going to be grind, launch, and then hopefully make some profit, right? Whereas putting the work is more like being very strategic about things. And for example, one of the things we like to do is talk to hundreds of people, literally on Skype, on the phone. Talk about their problems, do the data analysis, and then extract, what the actual pain points are. Yeah. And then, use that in the copy, use that for testimonials and stuff like that. Yeah. Right. So instead of reacting to a crisis and being reactive, we're trying to be more proactive and systematize that process so that every subsequent launch or every product release is going to be, tenfold easier because of that.
Wow. Right? Very cool. So as we start to kind of come in, the airplane starts to descend for landing, because you've talked about some cool concepts. Can you give people some insight into give one or two actionable things they can do as a result of watching this, and give us kind of some teasers of what beyond conceptual of what you're going to teach at the party?
Yeah. So before you can automate anything, you have to understand what you're automating for, right? So the first step is really understanding your customer. And I'm sure you've heard, oh, you got to send out a survey, you got to ask people, you got to talk to them. And that's all great advice, but you got to go a little bit more granular and go a little bit deeper. So when you talk to the customer, what are some things you should be asking, right? So before we can go deep into a relationship, we have to, form a little bit of a rapport, right? Just like how we started this call, we form a little bit of a rapport before we go in and say, hey, did you actually know I was a high school dropout? Like you didn't, even though we've seen each other so many times and talked so many times, like that's not something I share quite often until I'm really comfortable, right?
Yeah. And now you've told thousands of people, so.
Now,
and then also I didn't know you were raised in the Netherlands.
Yeah, so now you know as well.
Yeah.
So when you talk to your customer, you start with rapport, and I think everyone generally knows how to do that. How was your day, where you're from, and stuff like that. So then you get into the specifics, right? So that's when you ask them, okay, based on what my expertise is, which is time management and productivity, we have several topics that we can go deeper in. So let's say it's about goal setting, right? A lot of people have trouble setting goals and actually achieving them. So I might say something like, we're talking about goal setting today. We're talking because you're struggling with this. Why do you think you're struggling? And then they'll describe the whole life scenario. I've tried to write it down, that didn't work. I tried to do this, that didn't work, and I'll go in and say, okay, what other things have you tried to do this? Right, so you always want to figure out, okay, paint a picture of what they're actually doing today, and then figure out what did they actually try, and then ask them, okay, why? So why, that three-letter word like drives everything we do here. Like, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do internet marketing? Why do you want to grow a business?
That's the timer. Keep going, keep going. You're on a roll here.
Why is it that you want to, grow your business, make profits, impact the world and stuff like that? And for some people, that's different. It varies per person. Like for some people, especially I know people who have families and kids to take care of, a lot of things that they do is because they want to be able to support their kid, right? And put them through college and stuff like that. And when you talk to them, oftentimes when you ask them a superficial question, they will never give the true answer, right? So when you ask them, like, why do you want to set goals? Well, I want to be more successful. Well, why is that? Like, why? It's like, well, I want to be able to take my kids to school, like being able to, pick them up from school, bring them to school, and make sure that they do well, and that's why I want to be successful. So you, as the interviewer, you need to dig deeper, right? And so that's really the hard part.
Let me just clarify. Are you asking these questions in an email or one-on-one?
No, it's always like on the phone call or on Skype. Like never over email, because over email you only get superficial answers. And
okay, so what do? You would email your folks and say, hey, I would like to ask those of you that raise your digital hand. I'd like to get on the phone with you and ask you some questions to get to know you better, and then if you get 500 people that reply, you pick 20 of them and assume that
I pick all 500.
So you'd be on the phone with 500 people.
Yeah, like this process will.
This is where you're talking about the work.
The work, yeah. So this will take me a couple months, but by the time I'm going through this process, I have probably 50 products lined up because I know exactly what is there. And then it's all about building the funnel, the product suite, right? So that's what I mean. But the problem is, do you have the cash flow to sustain that research process? Which that's where the difference between emergency and strategy comes in. So that's why. So the way I pitch it is because I'm one of the highest paid time management consultants in the world, and I charge $1,000 an hour. I say, okay, hey, I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk to me. I'm going to help you out with this problem. Normally I charge for this, but we can talk for free for 15, 20 minutes or so. So usually it doesn't last more than half an hour.
Right, and you say, I'm going to do this for free because? Because
I want to help you. And our mission at Asian Efficiency is to make the world a more productive and efficient place. So by us talking, I can help you, and you would help me with your research, with my research.
Gotcha.
And so, so you record the calls. You always ask for permission beforehand, that you can record them. And then what I'll do is, after that, I'll ship them to speechpad.com to have them transcribed. So that, afterwards I can just, because, when you do the call, you just want to be engaged. You don't want to start taking notes. you want to do that as a separate process, because those two thinking processes are very different, right? Because as the juice is coming out, you don't want to be taking notes, because then you start losing focus, right? So I send it off to speechpad.com, get it transcribed. I'll have someone else look over it and then sort of summarize the data points in there. So like, what's the main struggle? Pick out some key phrases that they use.
So they don't only transcribe it; they actually will. They're smart.
No, they will transcribe it, but someone else on my team will sort of extract the data points. So like specific key phrases that people use quite often.
Wow.
Then when you have those key phrases, when you add that to your sales letter, to your copy, it's like, oh yeah, this is me. Like when I'm reading the sales letter, I'm like, this guy is talking to me, right?
I like it.
And so when you take that, you don't even have to use that in the sales letter. When you use that in your emails, like that's when people, when they're reading the emails, they're like, oh man, that is me. Like I gotta keep reading these emails.
This is crazy, because as you're describing it, it's like so freaking obvious. And I've heard different elements of what you're describing, but not all in one package. So
yeah, so that's where the engagement comes in, because engagement is all about how can I talk to you one-to-one and only send you emails that I know you're interested in, right? Yeah. So because we have sort of a topic that we're focused on, which is time management and productivity, there's several subtopics there that we can talk about, like procrastination, goal setting, focusing, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and through automation techniques, which I'll talk about at the live party, how you can automatically segment your list that way without you doing anything. Whoa. That's where the power comes in, right? Because marketing is really talking one-to-one, right? A lot of people, when they have an email list, they think, okay, I'm going to write one email, I'm going to send it out to 1,000 people, and everyone's going to like it. No, that's not the case. This is because we're all about productivity. It doesn't mean that every topic I write about is going to be relevant to you, right? So I want to only, if I write about procrastination, I only want to target people who specifically are interested in that topic. Likewise, if I talk about Apple apps, I only want to talk people who use Apple apps or have a Mac computer, or I know have an iPhone, right? And these are all things you can target. And just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek on how that works, if you have a blog, you have a lot of content, the way we do things is when people browse through the website, we can automatically tag them into our system. So if someone reads an article about Mac apps, we can automatically tag them as Apple computer users, right? Someone reads about goal setting, it will automatically get tagged as goal setting. So that way, whenever we send on an email, I can just say, hey, only send this to people who use Macs and like to set goals, because this article is about a particular app on the Mac that helps you set goals.
Yeah.
Send it out to those people. Open rates are going to be 50% or up. Clicks are going to be through the roof. If you pitch something, conversions are going to be through the roof. And to the customer or to the reader, it feels like, oh, this person really knows me because I'm getting emails I'm actually interested in, right? Instead of like going shotgun, like one email to everyone else. Like splice it up.
We're actually really stoked about this, man. I can't wait. I love when we have a speaker and I'm like, I want to go to your talk. Like I want to listen to it. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm hosting this. So this is awesome, man. I appreciate you agreeing to speak on our stage. I'm excited about what you're going to talk about. And for the viewers watching, I mean, you've touched on so many things, from efficiency to productivity to making money to a couple of little quick hacks, that like this transcription service and how to, man, this is awesome. I appreciate you. Any parting words before we say goodbye? Because we're way over time now.
You know what? If you want to know how to grow your email list, turn that into bigger profits, especially when you have a small email list, less than 10,000, I can show you how to turn that into 6 figures, like easily, with the stuff that we talked about today, but also some of the marketing automation and systems that you're going to need in your business. I'm really going to make your life so much easier. So definitely come to the talk, and I'll show you how all that works.
Awesome. And that is a good place to stop. So if people want to learn more about you, they can go to asianefficiency.com.
Yep.
And he'll know exactly what kind of emails to send you if you register for his list, because now they'll know that Do you have some porn stuff on there? I'm just kidding. All right, man. Well, we'll see you on Thursday, March the 12th, the day before South by Southwest Interactive kicks off. So hopefully we'll have all kinds of cool people in town that can attend. So with that, well, thank you very much. And if you haven't already registered or you're not already a member, go to internetmarketingparty.com/join and get yourself on the list, and we'll see you there. Thanks, Dan.